Okay, we're talking about the New York show that we just attended, and we basically visited about 25 of the companies, so maybe about 100 there. So this is kind of our debriefing to kind of assess if anything that we've learned will result in sort of a change in our philosophy or potentially a trade or investment decision or anything like that. Let's get started on Astur Gold. I guess there isn't really too much there. They're still waiting for the permit, right? And that sounds like he was saying end of the year, but kind of gave an amorphous. I thought he was saying like it could be 9 months or something. So that sounds like it could be next year, but I think they'd probably say, end of the year, right?
It didn't sound imminent to me at all. It sounded like they were raising money to get them through some preliminary development stage.
Yeah, they want to put in an exploration drift or tunnel and do some closer up drilling or sampling or something else. I guess they have the land lease or something or permit to be able to go do that phase. It's still considered to be exploration, though, so it doesn't have any impact on the potential for receiving the permit. I think this is still a permit play. If they get the permit and it's all copacetic and the project can go forward, clearly it would have some significant upside. Of course, at the time, then you'd have to figure out, hey, do they have to finance this with equity or can they do it with debt? I'm sure there's a lot of European, banks and stuff like that would be willing to finance a gold project in Europe. There aren't that many of them. So I think debt would probably not be too big a deal if they've got the permit and everything else. But it's like 9 months away, and without that, I think it will just float around with the rest of the market. I don't know if there's going to be anything. I mean, maybe if they go in underground and start drilling and come up with something great, but if you look at their historic drilling, there are some obviously higher grade zones, and I think people will take that into account as they, as if they put out, if they are doing more drilling and have some assays or whatever, channel sampling underground, whatever they plan to do. So I guess the answer there is that there was nothing new or imminent that would cause us to change, it's the wait and see attitude on that one, right?
The stock really hasn't performed that poorly, so it's not a huge value play. I mean, it used to be, and now it doesn't look all that unusual. So.
Well, relative to everything else, it hasn't gone down 50% in the last 3 months. Or maybe it has, but again, it's just with the rest of the
market. There doesn't appear to be anything imminent, whereas with some others, it seems like...
Right. It's one thing if they knew that the permit, but I guess they have the new elections as well, or they're having elections, so that's probably going to play into how this whole thing develops. I forgot when exactly the election cycle is, but I didn't think that was something that had, made the thing closer to being permitted. I think there's still a process there that they're going to have to go through, and I think who is in the ministries is going to, well, the provincial ministries, although they were saying that they have very strong support from the province because of the economic benefits. So I'm sure whoever's in there is going to look at it favorably, but still just having the elections, obviously no one's going to be really pushing one thing or another like this. Because it probably is not the biggest priority, I would think, but I could be wrong. But whatever, I still think it's months away before we take another look at it here. Okay.